Good morning, dear students. Welcome to Social Science class. I am Tajanisa from Vishwamanava High School, Sibar, Guttinadu, Chitradurga. Today we are going to discuss about the third chapter, Religious Promoters and Social Reformers in the History. Here first we are going to discuss about the dashes. First one, Shankaracharya was born at dash in Kerala. Uh, Shankaracharya was born in Kaladi in Kerala. Next one, the world is an illusion, Brahma alone is the truth. This statement was declared by dash. This statement was declared by Shankaracharya. Next one, the proponent of the Dvaita philosophy is dash. The proponent of Dvaita philosophy is Madhvacharya. This is all about the fill in the blanks. Next one. Next we move towards the question and answer. First one, explain the Advaita philosophy. Advaita means Brahma is the absolute truth. The rest of the world is false. Here Advaita means the Brahma, the God is a absolute truth and the rest of the world and the remaining world is a false. Second one, the soul is one with Brahma and life is not separate from Brahma. Here the soul, our soul is one with the Brahma. Our soul is connected with the Brahma and life is not separate from Brahma. Our life is not separated from the God Brahma. Next one, ultimately we should merge our Atma or soul with the absolute truth Brahma. Here at the end of our life, our soul or our Atma is absolute truth. It became converted, it became merge or it became merging with the Brahma. Next one, only when only then we can attain moksha or liberation. Here after getting merged our Atma or soul with the absolute truth God Brahma, then we got the or we get the attend we got or attended the moksha or liberation according to Advaita philosophy. Next one, next one, which is the philosophy advocated by Ramanujacharya? What is their sect called? Here Ramanujacharya advocated the Visishta Advaita philosophy. Visishta Advaita philosophy was introduced by the Ramanujacharya and his sects. Here sects means the followers. The followers of the Visishta Advaita or the Ramanujacharya are called as a Sri Vaishnav, Sri Vaishnavites or Sri Vaishnavism. We call as a Sri Vaishnavism or Sri Vaishnavites. Next one, explain the philosophy advocated by Ramanujacharya. Here, Ramanujacharya's philosophy is called as a Visishta Advaita. Here, the Ramanujacharya philosophy is called as a Visishta Advaita, and according to this philosophy, Jiva, our life and Prakruti, our nature, are under the control of Brahma. Here, our life and our nature is under control of the Brahma, the God Brahma. Next one, both Atma and Paramatma cannot become one simultaneously. Here, our Atma and Paramatma means in the human being and the Paramatma, the God is not became one. Next one, he said that world is the expressed manifestation of Brahma and world is a reality. Here, according to Ramanujacharya, the world is a expressed, it is a manifestation of Brahma and world is reality. According to Ramanujacharya, world is a reality. Next one, in order to achieve mukti or salvation, bhakti and prabhati, complete surrender to God are important. If we are going to attain mukti or salvation in our life, then it is important to achieve the bhakti and also the prabhati. Prabhati means the complete surrender to the God. Whatever we have in our life, that all those things we surrendered in front of the God. Then only we got the mukti or salvation in our life. This is all about the how the philosophy of the Ramanujacharya was introduced and the teachings of the Ramanujacharya's Visishta Advaita philosophy is introducing or preaching to the people. Next one, fourth one, what are the teachings of Madhvacharya? Here, according to Madhvacharya, the world is not Maya or illusion. Here, according to Madhvacharya, world is not a illusion. or it is not a false, it is a truth, or it is not a maya or illusion. Next one, it is as a paramatma or the divine soul. Means if the god is how the god is truth, then our divine soul also it is a truth. The paramatma or the divine soul both are the truth in this world. Next one, between these the divine soul is independent and the rest of the world is illusionary. According to Madhvacharya, our soul is a independent and it is a divine, and it is having the divine power, and also it is truth in the world. But the rest of the world, whatever the rather than the rather than the soul, whatever the world is illusionary, it is a illusionary or it is a maya. Next one, the divine soul and the human soul have a lord and servant relationship. Here, what are the relationship between as a human being in and the god? It is a relationship between as a servant and the lord. Lord means the owner. The between the owner and servant relationship having by the human being and the god. Next, Lord Vishnu or Narayana alone is supreme. Here, according to Madhvacharya, the Lord Vishnu or the Narayana, he was the supreme power. He having the Lord Vishnu having the supreme power or the highest power in this in the earth or in the world. At last, worship of God Vishnu can elevate the human soul and thus enable it to attain moksha. Here, according to Madhvacharya, worship of the Lord Vishnu, we are going to pray the Lord Vishnu. Through the praying of or worshipping of Lord Vishnu, we can evaluate or we can get the human soul and thus enable it to attain moksha. We got our human soul into a way of moksha. We got the enlightenment or this salvation at the end of our life through this worship of Lord Vishnu. This is all about the teaching of Madhavacharya. Next one, fifth one, write a note on the work is worship, philosophy of Basaveshwara. Here, Basaveshwara was preached or he introducing a philosophy called as work is worship. Here, Basaveshwara advocated self reliance and insistence one should earn one's living. Here, according to Basaveshwara, each and every person's or individual who is living in the society or in the earth, he should have the self reliance. Self reliance means he should be self independent, and also insistent one should once earn one's living. If a human being started or living their life, then he will be and he should be a self independent, and he should be earn something to lead their life according to Basaveshwara. Next one, he also declared no profession in more important or less important. Here, according to Basaveshwara, each and every profession is equal. No profession is higher or no profession is lower in lower level. Each and every profession is in the equal level, and each and every profession having its own importance. Next, he nurtured the culture of work is worship through his physical labor philosophy. Basaveshwara was nurtured or he developed the culture of work is worship in his philosophies, and also he through his teaching he developed the concept work is worship, and also he involved each and every persons who is followed his philosophy into a physical work or physical labor. Next one, by declaring body as a temple, Basaveshwara tried to implement work is worship philosophy in his in life. Here, Basaveshwara was declaring our body as a temple. Our body as a temple. He considered the body as a temple, and Basaveshwara tried to implement each and every work as a worship. He should be implemented each and every work in his philosophy or in his ashrama or in his mata. Work is worship. It is treated as a worship as equal as we worshipping the god. Next one, these thinkings are still the guiding lights of the present society. Here, the teachings and thinkings or thoughts of the Basaveshwara is still nowadays also it is guiding or lighting some people to follow the teachings and also to follow the correct manner and follow the worship and give importance to the worship in their life. Through the teachings of Basaveshwara, it is giving light or guidance to the people in the society. This is all about the work is worship concept or philosophy introduced by the Basaveshwara. Then move towards the next question. Sixth one, who established Anubhava Mantapa? What were its objectives? Here, Basavanna or Basaveshwara started a Shrana, Sharana spiritual center called Anubhava Mantapa at Basava Kalyana of present Bidar. Here, Basaveshwara or Basavanna, Basaveshwara also known as Basavanna, he started a Sharana spiritual center. Sharana spiritual center, that spiritual center is called as a Anubhava Mantapa at Basava Kalyana of the present Bidar. It located Anubhava Mantapa is located in the place of Basava Kalyana of present Bidar. It located in the Bidar. Next one, what are the objectives of Anubhava Mantapa? First one, they wanted to eradicate various socio-cultural issues like gender discrimination and caste system. Through the Anubhava Mantapa or through the Sharana spiritual centers, the Basaveshwara started to eradicate. He started to uh, demolish or he started to remove all or what are the discrimination, what are the socio-economic or socio-cultural issues existing in society. He tried to over or he tried to remove or he tried to eradicate that issues, that problems in the society, that problems or issues such as gender discrimination. There was a gender discrimination between the man and women, and also the caste system, upper caste system, lower caste system. This type of caste system was reduced or eradicated by the Basaveshwara through the Anubhava Mantapa. In Anubhava Mantapa, he given or he started some teachings. Next one, they were insisting that one should remain transparent in his life. His external behavior and internal thinking should remain clean. This transparent state of life is the ultimate truth, they declared. Here, Basaveshwara was declaring, or he is insisting each and every follower of his mantapa or follower of his teaching. One should, each and every person should having the transparent in his life, means he should be a clear. He should be both inside and outside. He should be one person, not a fake or not a false person. He should be a truthful person, and also he should be following the life should be a ultimate truth. The life is depending on a ultimate truth, means the life, what are the activities is going on in his life, that all the activities is dependent on the truth. They did not having or they did not adopted the double character, internal and external. Both internal and external character should be one, and both characters should be in a ultimate truth or in a truthfulness. He according he said by the Basaveshwara or Basavanna. Next one, their Vachanas reached the common people and created a social movement. Here, Basaveshwara or Basavanna introduce or he teaches the many more Vachanas. Through these Vachanas, through his teaching or through his Vachanas, they created the more and more knowledge and awareness among the people who is living in the society. They created the awareness through his vachanas in a simple language, and these vachanas created the social environment or social awareness among the people. Through this awareness, it created as a social movement. And through this Anubhava Mantapa, there was a many more peoples became changed, and also they changes their life in the society. This is all about the Anubhava Mantapa was established by the Basavanna at Bidar, and also what are the objectives having by this Anubhava Mantapa. Next one, name the name the books written by Shankaracharya. Here Shankaracharya was written many more books, such as first one Shankara Bhasya, second one Ananda Lahari, third one Saundarya Lahari, next Shivananda Lahari, Viveka Chudamani, Prabhuddha Sudhakara, and Dakshina Murti Sutra, and some of the Shankaracharya's book. This is the Shankaracharya well-known books which is written in his period of life. Then one of the famous hymn. Here hymn means the song or the song is written on the praise of the God. We are writing the many more hymn or songs for the praises of the God. That song is called as a hymn. Here The famous hymn of Shankaracharya is Bhaja Govindam. It is a world famous hymn which is written by the Shankaracharya. This is all the writings or books written by the Shankaracharya in his life. This is all about the chapter religious promoters and social reformer. There are the three major reformers or social promoters in this lesson. First one, Ramanuja. We discuss about the Madhvacharya, Ramanujacharya, Shankaracharya, and Basavanna or Basaveshwara. Next, we move towards the another chapter, the chapter number 4, Vijayanagara and Bahamani kingdoms. In this chapter, first we are going to discuss about the filling the blanks with suitable words. First one, Vijayanagara Empire was established in the year dash. Here Vijayanagara Empire was established in the year 1336. 1036 AD by Hakka and Bukka. Hakka and Bukka was established the Vijayanagara Empire in 1336. Next one, the Madhura Vijaya was written by dash. Here the Madhura Vijaya, it is a book written by the Ganga Devi. Third one, Prabhuddha Devaraya's minister was dash. Here Prabhuddha Devaraya's famous minister was Lankana Dandesha. He was a minister of the Prabhuddha Rayas. Fourth one, the king who wrote Amukta Malyada is in Telugu was dash. Here Amukta Malyada written in Telugu by Krishna Devaraya. Fifth one, Madrasa at Bidar was established by, Madrasa at Bidar was established by dash. Here Madrasa at Bidar was established by Muhammad Gawan. Sixth one, the Kitabe Navarasa was written by dash. Kitabe Navarasa was written by Ibrahim Adil Shah II. Kitabe Navarasa was written by Ibrahim Adil Shah II. This is all about the filling the blanks with the suitable words. Or next one, answer the following questions. Here first one, name the 4 dynasties who ruled Vijayanagara Empire. Here there was a 4 dynasties which ruled the Vijayanagara Empire. First one Sangama, second one Suluva, third one Tuluva and Aravidu. There are the Sangama, Tuluva and Aravidu dynasties which is ruled under the Vijayanagara Empire. Next one, what were the achievements of Devaraya II? Here Devaraya, he was one of the famous king during the period of Vijayanagara Empire. What are the achievements of his in his ruling period? Let's see. First one, he defeated the king Gajapati Kapilendra of Orissa and seized Kondavidu. Means Devaraya was defeated the king Gajapati of Kapilendra of Orissa. The Gajapati, he defeated the Gajapati Kapilendra. He was a king of Orissa and he captured the Kondavidu. Next one, he expanded his kingdom up to Krishna River in the northeast by suppressing the religion leader of the border. After that, he expanded his kingdom up to the Krishna River in the north and also in the east, suppressing the regional leaders of the border. He also controlling the many more regional borders leaders, and also he expanded his kingdom up to the Krishna River. Next one, he defeated the Kerala state and received royalties from Kerala and Sri Lanka. He not only expanded his kingdom up to the river Krishna, but also he defeated the South Indian dynasties such as Kerala, got the Kerala state and also the royalties from the Kerala and Sri Lanka. He also defeated the Sri Lanka and Kerala's dynasties. Next, hence he came to be known as Dakshinapatada Chakravarti, the emperor of the south. He also, by defeating the many more leaders, many more emperors in the south, then he got the title Dakshinapatada Chakravarti. In English, the emperor of the south. Next one, he changed the traditional few. Here few means enemy. Ahmad Shah of Bahamani till Bijapur and occupied Mudgal and Bankapura. He changed, means he defeated the traditional. He was one of the old enemy of Devaraya. He defeated Devaraya, Devaraya's old enemy Ahmad Shah Bahmani. To him he defeated and he got the Bijapur and also Mudgal and Bankapura. At last, his commander Lankana Dandesha took up a successful naval victory. After that, his famous commander-in-chief Lankana Dandesha also take a part, or he also took a part in the many more successful of the battles, or many more successful by expanding their kingdom in all over the India. Next one, the next question: what were the problems Krishna Devaraya had to face when he ascended the throne? Here, what were the problems? What were the problems which was faced by the Krishna Devaraya when he ascended the throne? First one, when Krishna Devaraya came to power, the kingdom was besieged or besieged by various complex internal and external problems. Here, when Krishna Devaraya was came into power, at that time many more peoples or many more kingdoms which are started the external and internal problems to the Krishna Devaraya. Next one, first one, the emperors who had arrived through new sea routes had established colonies. Means when the Krishna Devara was ascended the throne, at that time the many more Europeans who had arrived to India and they started to establish their own colonies in the sea routes. Next one, the Mughals of the north were trying to expand their kingdom in the southern region. The Mughals, who were already ruling in the north side, they trying to expand their kingdom up to the southern region. So it is also a problem for the Krishna Deva Raya. Third one, the five Shahi kingdoms of the Bahmani dynasty became powerful sultans and plunged into war against Krishna Deva Raya. And then not only the Mughals and Europeans created the problem to Krishna Deva Raya, but also the Shahi kingdoms of Bahmani. They also created the many more problems to the Krishna Deva Raya, and they started war against the Krishna Deva Raya. Next one, the kings of Ummatturu and Varisa were a constant source of threat. Also, with those problems, and also the kings of Ummatturu and Varisa, the kings of the Orissa and Ummatturu, they also created the many more problems for the Krishna Devaraya rule. This is all about the how Krishna Devaraya faced the many more problems when he ascended the throne. Next one, how can Gawan be considered as the best prime minister in Bahmani kingdom? In the Bahmani kingdom, he was Muhammad Gawan. He was the one of the famous king. He and he was considered as a prime minister in the Bahmani system or Bahmani kingdom. Let's see how can he considered as a prime minister of or in Bahmani dynasty. First one, as a prime minister of Bahmani kingdom, Muhammad Gawan took the Bahmani kingdom to great heights through his efficient administration and victories. Here, Muhammad Gawan has took and he take a Bahmani kingdoms at a peak of the administration through his effective administration planning, through his abilities, capacities. Muhammad Gawan was took the Bahmani kingdoms up to a one peak mark or up to a mark. Then the next, Gawan conquered Konkan, Goa, Belgaum. Here, Muhammad Gawan as a prime minister, he conquered or he owned the many more places such as Konkan, Goa, Belgaum, etc. He not only this, he invaded the Orissa, conquered Kondavidu, and also he invaded the Orissa in the eastern part. He invaded means he attacked the Orissa and he captured and won that Orissa and also the Kondavidu. Next one, in the year 1481 AD, he invaded Kanchi and plundered its huge wealth. After that, in 1481 AD, he attacked on the Kanchi, and then he plundered means he looted the many more huge wealth, jewelries, to increasing or to develop their economical system in this Bahmani kingdom. This is all the points where the Muhammad Gawan who put it their efficient effort, and he make that Bahmani kingdom up to a mark through his abilities, capacities, and through his mental and physical power. This is all about the how Muhammad Gawan became or considered as a best prime minister in Bahamani dynasty. Thank you each and everyone.